Welcome to Tech with Heart. I am your host, Michelle Calloway, and we are today talking about online accessibility. Are you open for business for those who have disabilities? Tech with Heart is all about empowering entrepreneurs to be successful in a rapidly changing digital environment. And online website accessibility is something every entrepreneur, every business owner needs to know about. So today I have a very special guest. His name is Daniel Hodges, and he is a passionate activist and advocate for those who have disabilities. He himself has started up while in law school a foundation called Pieces of Me Foundation. So without further ado, I would like to welcome to the Tech with Heart stage, Daniel Hodges.
Hey, and thank you for having me. It's great to be with you.
So Daniel, you are a sighted, visually impaired sighted individual, right?
Correct. I have very little vision, so I consider myself to be blind.
Okay, so you wanted to talk to entrepreneurs and also you kind of wanted to today have the topic be around how we as consumers and then also as business owners can collaborate together to like make this accessibility issue that we are finding that is an online issue, not just a brick and mortar storefront issue, something that we can, you know, align ourselves with to collaborate with. Is that correct?
Exactly.
So can you share a little bit about your experiences and what led you to, you know, ultimately want to be an advocate for this online accessibility issue, I guess?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So as you mentioned, I am a blind individual, and that means I use the internet and apps a lot with screen reading technology, especially as I, made it through law school, and then now as I've been running the nonprofit and just in my everyday life as well. And what makes me want to do this work particularly is that, I saw an article in CNBC the other day that said that 98% of the web is inaccessible. And that's definitely been reflected in my experiences and the experiences of my friends and colleagues. However, what isn't very well explained is what inaccessibility means and how it can be addressed in a way that brings forth consensus. And so my angle in the work is saying, hey, I want to be able to be that person who helps bring people together so that I and others can access the web the same or with equivalent success as everybody else, but do so in a way that creates progress.
Can you share maybe a story about an experience that you've had as a consumer when you were trying to do either business online, purchase a product online, or whatever that really kind of is a typical experience for the visual impaired consumer?
Absolutely. Yes, I was doing some research even last night where I was trying to read a web page, and you have videos that pop up that if it's not coded correctly, the video will actually detract from the screen reader's ability to keep its position on the web page. And so it'll be starting and stopping and skipping. And that's even if the actual audio component to the video is off. And another is, let's say you are wanting to eat out of the restaurant. And a trick that a lot of blind people use is to look at a menu online beforehand so that we have a general idea what we want to get. And that kind of cuts down the awkwardness of, can somebody read a print menu to us at the physical restaurant, or, hoping that the Braille menu is up to date. But if the restaurant has simply taken a picture of their print menu and posted it online as a JPEG or in certain PDF formats, all my screen reader can tell me then is that there's an image. And so somewhere that I might really want to eat or want to meet up with my friends has become less accessible to me based off of something that is really quite fixable.
I agree with you. I think that most business owners are just completely unaware of the struggle. And so therefore they don't think about it when they're putting the content out there for consumers because they can see it. So therefore they think they're making their content more accessible by providing such a thing as a picture of a menu. That's a really great point. I also know that when it comes to making purchases, sometimes you probably hit roadblocks with your reader software, right? When it comes to doing certain types of CAPTCHA. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, and we've made it a long way in the last decade or so with CAPTCHA versus reCAPTCHA and including the audio challenge, but there's still a long way to go there. And I think it's important to underscore here, we're not wanting to decrease the security on the web. We don't want our credit card information stolen any more than anybody else does. But putting forth options that both preserve security and have either an audio component or some, using some of the other technologies that verify that we're not a robot or that we're not there for some other nefarious purpose really does decrease the barrier to entry for us to make our purchases, which I know for business owners, especially now, business owners are, as I understand it, they're looking for every way they can to make sure that items are not being left in the cart. And this is one way to make sure that this decreases the incidence of that.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you mentioned that there's options. I think it's so important. A reason I really was happy to bring you on for our show today is because Tech with Heart is all about the humanity behind the technology. And we have to, as business owners, be very aware that the world of web is where people are doing the majority of their business. So if you own a business and you are online, you probably have some level of a website. And there are certain things that you need to be doing on that website to make people's reader software, like Daniel uses, to be able to properly read your website to him because he cannot see. And I know that there's been this whole fear out there that you're going to lose your business because you can indeed be sued for not providing accessibility because it is the law. Can you speak to that a little bit as far as that fear that you and I are both aware of that does exist out there in the entrepreneurial space?
Absolutely. And I even want to take this a step further and say, I've seen news articles that when they're talking about this, do so inaccurately. They mention how business owners need to install items on their website, not overlays, but items on their website that have the screen reading component in the website. And that's actually not true. There are overlays like the one that your company provides, which help with the coding on one side. And then there are the built-in tools in iPhone and Android, Windows, etc., that read it on our side. But there's a lot of misinformation out there about what is required. And there's a lot of fear out there that someone's going to come and get mad and try to take your business. And let me say, it's not fun to be on the blind end and you want to buy a couch or you want to order your pizza or you want to do whatever and you run into a barrier and say, I can't spend my money here. But speaking for myself, and I think the vast majority of other blind users, we would much rather figure out a way to make the website work in a way that is beneficial for everybody than get into a fight. Fights don't benefit anybody. So this narrative that we're out there looking to sue people as a first or even a second resort just because it's a fun thing to do, it's just not true.
I'm really glad that you said that. I really am. Because what will you do? Let's just say you really, really want to do business with a company and you just keep hitting roadblock after roadblock on their website because they have not addressed the accessibility issue. What would you do?
So what I have done in the past is I will usually look for the contact us form and I will give as specific information as possible. I ran into this barrier using this software in this portion of your website. And if I can, I will say, okay, I know XYZ organization, company, person can help mitigate this problem. And so that's usually the way that we do it. Now, I will also point out here, one of the problems that we're running into is that some companies know to send it to the IT desk and know how to run with it and are really great at getting back. And some, I actually had a major company in the food industry, I'll probably just leave it there, who took my same feedback and said, well, we'll send it to the marketing department to see if it's worth fixing. I was like, no, that's not how you approach this. I understand that there's limitations to resources, but as a blind user, to make it feel like it's a marketing thing instead of an accessibility and universal design thing, that did kind of draw out a little bit of, I don't know, just for lack of a better word, angst, I guess is a way to put it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's not, did I go call a lawyer? No. Was I a little bit less enthused about shopping with them for a while? Absolutely, because I felt like not only was the barrier there, but it wasn't taken seriously.
Yeah,
Being able to do business online is crucial for survival, especially during times of social distancing. So how do you survive and thrive in the sea of digital noise? It's a lot like fishing. You need to know who your perfect customer is so that you can use the right kind of lure to attract them. We help you catch your perfect customer and retain them for future sales through highly converting websites, influencer mobile apps, getting you featured in the news and on TV. Hi, my name is Jerry Bowden, U.S. Army veteran and president of Revealio Software Solutions. Our goal is to help you rise above the competition, be seen as an expert authority in your industry, and embrace technology to stay competitive for long-term success. It's more affordable than you may think. So reach out to us at revealio.com and together we will make your business come alive.
Let's address that first, just a little bit more. Oh, all right. So I'm going to speak up because my husband is also a visually impaired, legally blind U.S. veteran. And we as business owners have actually come up with a kind of a tip of the iceberg solution. It's not a solution for all, but we have provided all business owners, if you're interested, a widget that can sit on top of your website and only is accessed when needed. It does not slow your website down, but it does make certain tools available for those who are either visually impaired, hearing impaired, and whatnot. So it's called adadefender.us. You can go there, check it out. It's free. You can also upgrade to a more robust version with the artificial intelligence that will do quite a bit of work to help make most of your site accessible. This is still not an end all. Let's talk about what he just mentioned. Daniel mentioned that it's an accessibility issue. It's not a marketing issue. It's not an if we can, we'll fix it. This is the law. I want you to hear us. We are heart-centered individuals here talking to you, the business owner. This is a digital era. Accessibility is the law. You need to make your business accessible to all persons with all disabilities. This is not an option. This is actually the law. It can indeed close you down if you do not take it seriously. Daniel, luckily, is the kind of guy that's not going to just run to his lawyer. But it is, like he said, disheartening. So can you speak to us, Daniel, a little bit about what is the percentage of potential business growth? Do you know what that number is if business owners do indeed take this seriously like they should and open their doors to make their websites more accessible?
Absolutely. So the CDC says that approximately 1 in 4, so about 25-26% of Americans have a disability of some sort. Now, to be clear, only a portion of that fourth of the population has a disability that would necessarily have a technology barrier. But what I will say is I heard a couple of weeks ago that there are between 2 and 3 million school-age children out there with some sort of visual disability, for instance. And that's not even speaking to how many adults, it's not even speaking to how many seniors who are, part of the aging process, is that oftentimes vision or eyesight decreases, and the list goes on. So I can't give you an exact figure other than, if I were to guess, probably 5 or 10%, but that's not a number I would, sign my name under, but it's a significant portion of the population.
Exactly. So you are limiting your business to on multiple levels by not taking accessibility seriously. One is you could and you are vulnerable for a lawsuit. So let's just say it out loud. We're hoping you don't, but reality is that you could if you're not taking accessibility seriously. And if you think that your web designer is responsible for making your website accessibility, you're gravely mistaken. It is actually not their responsibility. It's yours as the business owner. They're just hired to create your website. Now, it's quite shocking how many web designers are not still practicing good ADA principles when creating websites. So you might want to check in with your web designer, or you're welcome to reach out to us. And like I said, go to adadefender.us and at least put that free widget on your site showing those who do have disabilities that you are aware and that you do care and you're trying to resolve it. And you can definitely talk with us, reach out to Daniel. He's got a new nonprofit he's forming. And as he grows, he's going to have more accessibility remediation services available. Right, Daniel?
Correct.
Yeah, so for right now, if you are listening to this and you have queries, you're interested to know, how's my site doing, you can definitely reach out to us. Go to adadefender.us, check that out. We are here to serve, not to scare. We just genuinely want you to be aware. Daniel, can you share with us a little bit of like some of the things that people can do with their websites right out the gate that would really increase the ability for you as a sight impaired individual to at least peruse their website and understand it better?
Absolutely. One that we often hear about is making sure headings are properly set up so that one can scroll between headings and navigate the page more effectively. But another really cool one that most people don't know about is we've heard about putting in alt text descriptions or alternative text descriptions for images, so that if I'm scrolling through, I'm not having the screen reader tell me this is an image or this is an image of a fruit or something that's not useful, but it can say, hey, this is a green apple in a basket with the caption that says, my apple is delicious, or something like that. Now, the twist to this is that I read recently that putting in alt text descriptions, so photo descriptions is really the layman's way to look at it, photo descriptions. Not only does that make your website more accessible, but it also increases search engine optimization, because Google doesn't have the AI right now, and the search engines don't have the AI right now to identify the images in a way that optimizes those results. But if you have the photo descriptions in there, then the search engines can pick up on what those images are portraying, and that actually can increase your web traffic overall.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because this is a win-win. I'm noticing that platforms even such as LinkedIn and Facebook, now when you upload images in your social media posts, they're giving you the option to add alt text. So that option is there now where it wasn't before, because sighted individuals like Daniel need to be able to scroll social media too and have the reader tell them what that picture is showing them, right? So be as descriptive as possible in your alt text, but using keywords. This is where the strategy comes in. Use keywords that are going to drive traffic to your website. And talk about a win-win. Good job on that one, Daniel. Is there anything else?
Thank you. And, I think just on that point, if you were to go to a newsstand and open up a magazine, you would expect under an image to have, there would be a caption so that you know what you're looking at and what the photographer is trying to convey, what message they're trying to convey with that image. And it's really that simple. I know some people oftentimes feel pressured of, well, if I put up this image, do I have to know how to do this really brilliant articulation of, well, this image shows and this and all the flowery. It doesn't have to be that. Literally all that's required is a good faith effort to say, this is what the image is trying to convey. These are the key bits of information that we want you to see or hear from this image. And simple, but complete, I think, is the best way to look at it.
Thank you for that. Can you share a little bit about, I know you can hear, so therefore you can watch videos by listening more or less, but let's talk about video, because video marketing is really at its peak right now, especially with short form video. Can you speak to like captions and the need for those who have disabilities?
Absolutely. And I will say that we've made a lot of progress when it comes to transcription. You know, the YouTube and other things have made a lot of strides as far as getting AI generated transcripts. However, I can't underscore enough, take a look through the transcript, make sure it's accurate before posting it. But it's okay if you rely on, if you utilize the AI driven software that generates a transcript, go in, proof it, make sure it's good. And then again, it doesn't have to be this elaborate process if you just double check the work. And with you also bringing up the video components, I know for a lot of us blind people, the short form videos that are just text on a screen to music, I understand for people who are able to see it, that can be a very compelling way to convey a message. There are ways to do audio description optionally that would be able to have someone opt in so that whatever's being read on the screen is being conveyed to us so that we're able to participate too, but wouldn't detract from the simplicity of the message you're trying to get out. So there's a lot of ways to do this, and it's very low barriers to making things accessible compared to what I think the general perception is.
Oh, that is such a great point, because I know I'm a big TikTok advocate. So, I mean, I just think short form video is the bomb, and it's proven. It's just trending like hotcakes right now. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of these short form videos that do have a lot of text on the screen are using the artificial intelligence voiceover to do the voice work for them, so that they are indeed at least making their reading content audio as well, without them having to do their own recording with their own voice. So great points. I'm loving all of this. I just want to kind of wrap this up with, creating your online web presence in a way that it's done optimally for accessibility for all is really not as much work as you might perceive, unless you've got a ginormous website and you'd have to go back and you'd have to remediate. There is artificial intelligence software that does a majority of the fixing of the problems, but that's not an end-all solution, because there are some compliance regulations required by law that do need to be ultimately addressed. The larger corporation you are, the more at risk of big potential lawsuits. But don't think that as a small business owner, you're risk-free. Don't think that for a second. Reach out to us. Go to adadefender.com. ADA stands for Americans with Disabilities Act. adadefender.us. I should say US.us, not the .com, .us. adadefender.us. And check us out as far as what we can give you either for free or for a low monthly payment to make your website more accessible. And then Daniel, I would love for you to share a little bit about your foundation and what you plan to be doing. I know you're just getting it going. So share a little bit about your foundation for us.
Absolutely. So we are Pieces of Me Foundation, and the Pieces is spelled P-E-A-C-E-S. So the reason we went with that spelling was to really illustrate the fact that as people with disabilities, we're not missing a piece or portion of ourselves to have a fulfilling life where we're able to contribute in society. We're missing the kind of inner piece that comes with accepting who we are. And the way that we fit into this equation as an organization is we connect people with each other, with ideas, with the resources they need to really find that next area of growth that they can strive toward to be able to live any of our best lives. Because as someone with a connective tissue disorder and chronic pain, along with having a significant visual impairment, I've been there. I know what it's like to have to deal with, surgeries and discrimination and low expectations, and the people who stepped in at various points along my way and have said, okay, you've made this stride, you've reached this plateau, now what's next? Because that's part of being a human. That's not part of just being someone with or without a disability. That's part of being human, to say, what can we do next? What can we become next? And I think our core message is saying, having a disability, it does not preclude you or keep you from having that kind of potential. You can still try to do more, be more, grow and develop. And that's what Pieces is here to help you do.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And technology has made people who have disabilities, made their life, especially visual disabilities and hearing disabilities, it's made your life far more robust because you're able to access things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to access in that way. But yet we are having this conversation because a lot of business owners are unaware that when their website was likely built, it wasn't built with accessibility in mind. So that's all we're asking you, is you to take a look. Let's have that conversation. Let's figure out how to open your doors to be accessible for all. Daniel, what is one phrase or comment that you would really like to leave with people as they walk away from this interview?
The biggest misconception out there is that universal access is something that takes away from your business. And what I want everyone to understand is that universal access, making sure that your website, your business is open to everybody, it's one of the best things you can possibly do for your business. Not only for those with disabilities, but so many examples. I'm not going to go into them all right now, but so many examples of innovations that were specifically designed to make the world more accessible end up benefiting everybody. And I think that trend is going to accelerate with time as access becomes more in vogue. So don't think of it as something that detracts from your business. Think of it as another massive opportunity for growth.
Amen. I agree with you 100%. So thank you for being on the Tech with Heart show. And if you are watching or listening and you are a business expert that has some form of insight, educational element, or teaching that you would like to share back with our entrepreneurial audience, we need leaders like you. We want to hear from you. So just reach out to us at techwithheartnetwork.com. Join our heart-centered, forward-thinking community there, and let's grow our businesses together. Here is to your success.